poo-poo.
Hello, welcome to the show, Brad. I don't know how you do this so often.
It has to be intentional.
You know the rule. Just don't talk until I talk. It's like the simplest rule.
That's a tall order.
Oh, my Lord. Like, you're quiet for so long. It's like, I just can't. You're like that kid in the meme, like, with the vein showing. He's like, too much silence. It's not even silent. There's music. What's up, Tex? What's up, Nurgle Matt? Thank you guys for joining. One of these weeks, I'm just going to put tequila in this in honor of Brad. So, Nathan, hello. Hey, Jamie, switch the obscene. Hey, so, I almost had our obsec changed, but we had some, at the beginning. What is this, an update? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, there was an update. It looks like it unsynced everything from the Stream Deck.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, the
fun.
Stream Deck?
Yeah, well, all the all the
camera
scenes.
angles and
Yeah,
stuff? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I'll
mean,
have
I don't
to-
know how hard that is. I've never programmed a camera angle, but
it's hard. It's a process to get it in OBS. I just have to link each scene to the button.
oh, gotcha. Eli, what's up, Eli? We have to honor Brad because he nearly killed me. But he wasn't able to do it. So,
It was
mediocre
close.
greatness. How you doing? I don't know who that is. You guys know toe angle. That Tex. We have it. Listen, every week we have it. It's how we end the show. Eli is not mediocre greatness and Sweet Wolf, is he?
Who is Sweet Wolf?
That's it. It's Eli.
Why?
I don't know. But I appreciate you guys stopping by for the beginning of this illustrious show. So I will say we got to recap the weekend a little bit. So today I came to work and I was like, man, it's it's dead over here. But yeah, it's Monday. That makes sense. And then I saw cars at Hoagie Man. I was like, wait a minute. It threw my whole weekend off, man. Having
Yeah.
Monday off.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. It was a thing. Have you guys watched? God, what's that? It's not very good. I hear there was no basketball this week. Yeah, and it hurt my soul.
Oh, you're talking about
Lord of the Rings.
I have
Anybody
not,
watched
I have
that
not
yet?
seen Lord of the Rings.
Tony,
yet,
have you
no.
watched it?
No.
Or do you plan on watching it?
I don't know.
I think I gotta watch. I gotta decide for
my initial opinion was no, I'm not gonna watch it. And then Mari asked me about it, and I was like, if she wants to watch it, maybe. But
I think if she enjoyed the Lord of
she
the
won't.
Rings, you
She
should
won't.
probably not
Well,
watch it.
she did enjoy the Lord of the
That's what I'm
Rings.
saying.
And just based off what I hear about this show, I don't think she would like this. I hear it's really boring. Like everything, all thing, everything to be said about it, every bad thing to be said about it, it's boring. So
I've heard mixed. I've heard like
Who is mediocre
substantially.
greatness? I don't know who it is. Just a guy that accidentally found us, and yeah, I don't know.
Significantly mixed reviews on the show.
yeah,
I thought you were gonna say on the store.
I heard IMDb, which is owned by Amazon, apparently deleted
Disabled reviews or whatever.
they deleted all the reviews under 6 stars, I think.
it's for the first
Text were all your homies, brother.
week or so. They weren't allowing reviews, is what it was.
Oh.
For
for
the
the initial-
first 72 hours.
Oh, 70. Is that
Yeah.
all it was? Okay.
Nathan dislikes something on YouTube, but I'm telling you, Nathan, like if you could see what I see, it would be nothing because I can't see what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
so small,
So
very small.
So the division I'm seeing on Rings of Power is the
Text,
professional.
I'm down, brother.
The professional
Smash.
critic reviews are 85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
The audience
like
critic
39 or-
reviews 39%.
Yeah.
So critics love it, but the audience hates it. So.
Listen, I will say this. So before House of the Dragon came out, the Game of Thrones prequel, there was a lot of. Damn, he just won't tell me who he is. Finley, Ohio is not. I mean, that's a reasonable distance for certain items.
I bought my Jeep in Finley.
Prove it.
I
I'm
could
sorry,
actually.
I'm
There's
sorry.
a thing out back.
I was gonna say when House of the Dragon before it came out, there was a lot of reviews like talking about how the show was gonna bomb, and it could. Listen, we've had that rug pulled out before. It really could get there, but so far it's pretty good. It definitely has its items. You're like, yeah, that's not right, or
Yeah.
like that's I don't know some ludicrous points, but overall the show is good.
Well, what's been ludicrous so far? I'm caught up. I've watched it.
Okay, so, well, one, there's just things that shouldn't happen in universe that don't make sense, right? But that they do for shock value. Like the first episode where they're killing people in that melee.
Okay.
Like, literally, like, they wouldn't do that, right? Like, these are highborn knights and stuff. This would create, like, family feuds for generations.
That's one of the big complaints I've heard about, not just House of Dragons, but a lot of things just on HBO in general. Is there are shows with gratuitous violence and gratuitous sex scenes, and like things like it doesn't need to be there. Like I heard there were someone who liked Game of Thrones, but like the sex scenes were just the scenes themselves were unnecessary, right? You don't need to show all of it happening. You could literally cut to them walking into a room, know what was going to happen, and then cut to something else.
I don't.
You don't need to see it.
I don't think they were killing nobles. They looked like lowborn peasants.
Well,
that they were killing.
At the very least, a kind of middling knight sucker punched the prince, the heir to the throne at the time, right? So, like, Daemon was celebrating, and he hit him in the back with a flail, and that's how he won the fight.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, that just, it wouldn't, and they were fighting with live weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the melees are fought in universe, and I assume in reality they were fought with blunted weapons. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
like there's a whole point, literally in the first season of Game of Thrones, where, like, Robert wants to fight the melee, and Ned tells me, he's like, dude, you can't do it. They're just going to let you win. And he, like, threatens to kill him and fire him or whatever because he tells him that. But he's like, dude, it's the truth. You're the king. Nobody's going to actually fight you. So, like, just silliness like that. Nothing to ruin the show, but it's just the kind of stuff exactly wouldn't happen. And then, like, in the second episode, like, when they go to Dragonstone and the maester's there, like, he doesn't even say anything. Like, what are you doing here? You know, just strange things. And then there's also the agenda items that there are a few of, but it doesn't ruin the show.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, Mari started watching it recently. We're a few episodes in, and I forgot Sean Bean was in it.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as I saw he was in it, I was like, I wonder how they're going to kill him.
Yep.
So I know he dies, so it's okay. It's Sean Bean.
When Sarah and I were watching the first
the series.
season, and he dies in that 9th episode. Sorry, spoiler. It's literally an 11-year-old episode.
You're good. I don't care.
Like, the show ends, the episode ends, and I'm like, oh God, that had to have been a dream, right? And then it's not.
I'm not sure why you were surprised.
I just didn't expect. Like, he literally was like the banner carrier of the show.
He's like the main character.
Main character.
Like, he was on all of the promotional materials. You know, like, it's.
I really like Sean Bean. I think he's got a great. I think he's a good actor. I think he's got a great voice for acting as well.
Directors have a real thing for killing the guy.
I guess he won't take any roles anymore where he dies.
That's good.
I heard that.
Well, that's why he narrates. He does all the narrations for Civ 6.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite parts of the game is you just boot it up to play a fresh game, and all of a sudden Sean Bean is just reading this elegant few paragraphs to you. You're like, oh, this is great.
Oh, nice.
I want this guy to read me bedtime stories.
That's a great reason to get into the story. He said he was in Adrian and he tried to avoid a cop, pulled in, boom, game store. So he got a Dark Elf team. I appreciate that. Nathan says, noblesse oblige. Or is it oblige? That's oblige, right? Is a myth. And being with gloves. Nathan, hang on. I got to the bottom of that, and now my eyes are about to pop out of my head. They start season 8 with a nut joke. It literally, like, the final season of the best show that's ever been on TV. The first set of dialogue is a pee-pee joke.
So,
I'm not kidding.
So, Game of Thrones. Here's my theory on Game of Thrones. Not having watched obviously the full series, I've watched the first season, but that was like 2012. So,
dude, I remember I tried to stream the first episode. I remember it was 2011. It was the year it came out, and people were talking about it. And it was the grainiest, crappiest feed I've ever found. And I'm like, I can't watch this.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I tried to stream Game of Thrones, on HBO in 2011.
Yeah.
I remember I was squatting in Minky's apartment when I was taking summer classes. I tried to watch it one night. It just did not work.
I was on a boat in the Mediterranean, so I had nothing else to do. So I was just, yeah. I guess we'll watch the first season. I don't remember anything that happens in the show. I probably watched Sean Bean die and didn't even register at the time.
The first season was quite good.
I think, yeah. Well, I
What's
think
up, Aggie?
I think Game of Thrones, this is my theory, I think Game of Thrones spans this time period where writing in shows and movies weren't, like, terrible. And then when did it end? 2018?
It's been 3 years, I think.
So
right?
2019?
I think it was 2019.
Okay. So yeah, so that works perfectly. And it just drifted into this time period where, like, writers are just, whatever reason, writing in shows and movies is just crap.
Nathan, you watched only season 8?
Yeah, he did.
That's obscene.
To be fair, I watched the first full season like 10 years ago, and then I went over to Tony's and watched the last full season.
Were you there for the final season?
I was there for the last few episodes, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I saw the dragon burn the throne and everything.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
So,
Big old pile of nonsense.
yeah, I didn't make it.
Oh, man.
Didn't hurt me at all, but, you know.
Yeah, I saw the first 3 seasons and then like the last episode.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I knew it was
way out of
listen,
order, like, yeah.
I'm not like most people. I thought it started getting bad. I thought season 4 was a very bad season. And then it just continued to pile on, right?
Yeah.
So people are like, "That's great. This show," I'm like, this is really going off the rails.
Sometimes it takes a little while for it to register.
Well, I mean, I have a higher standard than other people, but like season 3 I thought was mediocre. It just finished strong.
Star Wars was like that for quite a while.
Yeah.
Like, people couldn't come
yeah.
to terms that The Force Awakens was like a bad movie.
Well, they had
I-
Rogue One.
I still don't think Star Wars movies are good.
I mean,
Any of
that's
No,
fair.
not anymore, man.
I don't
That's
know, man.
fair.
I still
The-
like the old ones.
I
Dude, I can't have the same appreciation for him.
That's
anymore.
fair.
Like,
Did you just got to look at the other stuff as fan fiction?
well, but not
I don't
even
recognize
that.
the
Just
other
because like now they haven't aged well.
Oh, I don't agree.
don't
with
know.
that.
Just looking at Vader's movements, and I'm like, oh, this is awful.
Oh, sure. Like,
I mean, compared to other stuff in the 70s, it has aged pretty well, but that's pretty rough.
I mean, just ugh.
Oh,
No,
talking about the lightsaber fight between Obi-Wan and
oh yeah. I mean, I
one-
wasn't even thinking of that, but that's god awful.
the one between
That they didn't even put effort into.
the one with Vader and Luke. All 3 times were fine. 3 times? Or they only fight twice.
they fight twice.
They fight twice. Okay.
Fine is
They were
better than that first one.
Yeah, they were.
I don't know about that, Nathan. He says
Yeah,
my bar
they
is
look
above
good.
most Olympic pole vaulters, but I mean, I think I have a. I think not in season. I think in universe rules are very important to follow, right? So like,
Yeah, it's continuity.
if you have a proton torpedo blow up one Death Star, like you can't hold a maneuver in the. You know what I mean? You just can't.
yeah, well, yeah, that creates.
There's just too many issues.
You
with
need
it.
So when you're writing your own universe, you need to be able to maintain the continuity with all the things you create, right? That's the problem. That's the problem with Star Wars. That's been
been a problem with comic books for years.
it's the
right?
growing
Like,
problem with the Marvel franchise.
Yeah.
The movies, like I guarantee.
The problem is they need other things to happen later on, and they have to break preset rules.
yeah, exactly.
Because their narrative just isn't
Yeah.
strong enough.
So I guarantee I'm willing to bet that they're not going to hold to any of the rules they set in Multiverse of Madness.
Well, a multiverse is just a way to get around any hard rules.
Well, here's the
right?
thing,
Like,
though.
it's
Do you
just-
remember the rules they set up in Multiverse of Madness?
Listen, man, I don't remember a great deal about that.
That's
film.
fine.
The things I remember are not
really-
highlights.
But anyway, so like, if you spend
Nathan says hello to
if you spend
hello.
if you spend even a small amount of time in a different multiverse that's different from your own, you risk causing an incursion and destroying that universe.
Oh, basically like a butterfly effect, right? Like you shouldn't be in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So are they going to hold to that for the rest
No.
of... No, absolutely not. They're expecting everyone to forget about it for the next 30 movies they make. I guarantee it.
Listen, Eli, I tell you what, man, I really want to play a Star Wars. I want to play a Star Wars game where I'm a Sith. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Or at least like a gray, like... I don't want to be a Jedi necessarily.
Oh, so you want to be like Rey?
Ugh.
Well, I don't... I said gray, not Ray.
Yeah, no, but that's what she is.
I don't
The-
think
the
she's
Star
gray.
Wars-
She's got force lightning and she...
Well, I just think they gave her all the powers. I don't think
Yeah,
there was
but
any
she-
negative connotation at all.
She accidentally.
No, but she
Luckily, she only killed bad guys.
No, but she's
not Chewie.
she's the middle point. She's like that's her whole character. She's like the middle.
I can't even talk about it.
She is supposed to be the balanced character. She's supposed to be in the middle of the light side
the Mary
of the dark
Sue.
side.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of the movie. Unfortunately, yeah.
But
Horrible character.
I don't.
Eli,
I don't have,
I'm sorry. I'm more than okay
Yeah, that's
getting
the point.
not paying attention to the others.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the Star Wars universe. Just the movies, the cinematic stuff is just not good.
Well, I mean,
I'll play a Star Wars video game or role playing game, absolutely, because the universe is good.
no, those usually don't have any continuity, like massive continuity
fine.
implications, which is why there's usually no issue with them.
Yeah.
It's like you play this Jedi, he swings a lightsaber, you go defeat agents
you
of the
jump,
Sith.
you
Do it.
jump on stuff, and
All
you
right.
do some flips.
Although Battlefront 2 was pretty terrible, even with like the continuity stuff was. Oh God. Oh, the story in that
Tony,
game
I
is awful.
really cannot see any comments
On YouTube?
You play.
There's nothing I can do about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair.
Little segue. You play in Battlefront 2. You play as her name's Iden Versio, I think is what it is. She's like an Empire Special Forces soldier, but she turns like rebel at the beginning of the game. So she joins the rebels. At one point in the game, you've got you and one of your squad, or I think it's actually just you. You hijack like a cloud car, like you find on Bespin, and they fly it into a Star Destroyer and destroy it. I'm not joking. This is a thing that happens in
cloud
that video
car.
game. Yeah, like the little two-seater, the thing, the robot. What's the guy's name in Empire?
I don't know what his name is, but I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
they
You know,
drive-
that thing shot the Millennium Falcon and it just irritated him. So I'm just for reference.
It was like I think it was like docked, and they ran it into like the supporting arms.
The Star Wars
Yeah,
I
but,
was like,
but
it's
the
so-
Millennium Falcon
it was
has
so dumb.
like
It was
really
so
thick
dumb.
plot armor, though.
Incredibly
That's
thick.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
To the point where, like, they literally do something that crashes another fighter immediately beforehand, and all it does is make Lando say, that was too close.
What's really funny is after the last movie they made, Star Destroyers apparently have zero plot armor because they literally had thousands of them rise from the
Like,
or in
that
the sky
shot-
just fall to the ground. So
We do got to put this on a base, Nathan. You're
Yeah,
right.
those
terrible
Make it a
movies.
base.
that many of those giant Star Destroyers hitting the surface of that planet very well could have like destroyed it.
Simply being on it and lifting up at the same time would have thrown that planet like
Out of
that's just
orbit.
too much mass. Like
that's a good point.
And then they all also like this is the J.J. Abrams effect. They all had a Death Star array. Every one of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Like and then like when the good guys come in, the screen is just there's no empty space. There's that many good guys.
Yeah.
That's not a cool shot. It's ridiculous.
yeah, well, that's the problem.
Nathan
When you
says the prequels had the best saber fights.
Yeah.
I think we'll always remember.
Hard agree.
We'll always
Yeah,
remember
I
when
think so.
Darth Maul popped the second side of that saber. You're like,
Little 9-year-old me was like,
prequel movies still better than the new ones.
oh, by far,
by a mile.
by far.
prequels were the best.
I wish the new ones had pod racing.
And let me tell you the
Look,
episode
if,
two.
if Ray is involved, I just don't want to watch it.
Episode 2 is a very bad film.
Episode, yeah,
It's not a good
Attack of the
film.
Clones, really?
Yeah.
It was the worst Star Wars until
until the new 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's some really
I
interesting.
don't know
parts.
though, because like the when the clones
Has a
come
base.
along and like they fight
Wait, there's a
everything,
camera.
that's
Got a
almost
base.
like that was
he's
the
talking like a
grandest
platform.
scale
Oh,
of any Star Wars to that point.
I think the thing is like it was so iconic to see the Clone Wars start that's the only good thing about the movie. You know what I mean? Because like the battle on Geonosis is sweet.
Yeah, it's
Like
seeing
when
where
they're used, they have all that all the armor and artillery and all that. Super cool to
They-
see like a ground Star Wars battle like
they
that.
reference the Clone Wars in the original trilogy, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that payoff there. I think is where the movie falls apart. Honestly, the only reason the movie's bad is because of the CGI and
The fact that they never made a clone.
Come on,
Anakin's-
back then you didn't notice the CGI.
No, but you want to talk about things aging
Yeah.
poorly? I'll tell you right now, Attack of the Clones aged way worse than any of the
Oh
things.
man,
with-
I
with,
still
Well,
don't
Well, they
think
used
it's
too
that bad.
much.
Yeah.
huh?
They used too much.
Yeah, it was just
Oh yeah.
too much of it.
Well, they never had a physical model of
Yeah.
a clone trooper. I don't
that's
think.
Yeah.
wild.
No costume exists.
Yeah.
I think
Unless
it
it
does
was
now. I
reproduced.
think Boba Fett, I think, had one. I think there was a guy in a physical
Oh, Boba Fett outfit.
At the time of filming, there was
Return.
no.
Yeah, during the movie there wasn't.
Yeah, for the clone
Obi-Wan.
troopers.
Yeah.
Well, they had one for Return of the Jedi, a Boba Fett outfit.
No, I'm talking. He's talking about the clone trooper. Like you know,
Yeah,
like,
no, I
like
know.
Stormtroopers like were physical things. Every clone trooper was digitally
Yeah,
inserted.
yeah.
Which is odd. But like
It's cheaper.
you couldn't tell back then. Or
Well,
at least
I disagree.
Okay.
Look at
little,
the time you
little
couldn't.
bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Dakota couldn't tell.
No, I know. But what,
Okay.
once again, talking about things that age poorly. But it also depends on what you're CGIing too. Like you can CGI a droid and it doesn't look as bad as CGIing a clone trooper because droids are
If they
they're
have
droids,
if they have
right?
clumsy
Like-
movement, it makes sense.
yeah, exactly.
Humans
And they
shouldn't.
look a little weird. Like it's a droid. It's not a human. But you know you do,
Yeah, I mean,
do
I
dudes in armor. It doesn't.
You know, I will say, I think the plot, like where Obi-Wan finds out how the clones were ordered and all that, I don't think that's a bad part of the movie.
no,
No, I don't
I
think so
think
either.
I think
There's
that plot
some-
line is all good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
I don't.
agree.
Yeah, so I think that
Maybe it's the dialogue. Maybe it's just Anakin's
it's his
delivery.
dialogue. That's literally
a lot
it.
of it is.
and it's his delivery.
Anakin's dialogue, I think, is even worse than his acting. Like
I agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
yeah.
think the dialogue
things-
brought his acting down.
the things that they make him say are just worse. Like
Dude, the pear,
Oh yeah.
when he floats the pear over and she's like, and eats a digital pear, it's like you couldn't just put a pear on a fork.
Is this
Like,
because
edit out
nerds
this-
don't know how to interact with women? Is this the problem? It's like
Yeah, I
it's who's
guess,
writing
like-
Star Wars is like,
Well,
oh
it's-
yeah, I would
it's-
totally do
What would chicks dig?
Oh no,
It's George Lucas. He cannot write dialogue. He doesn't know how humans speak.
He needs Steven Spielberg.
Well,
That's part of it. So
Well, also in the 70s, I think I've said this before, he was nobody. So people weren't afraid to say, that's stupid. I'm not saying that. In
fair.
the 2000s,
there
he
was
he was
a point
George
somebody-
Lucas.
yeah, he was. Yeah.
You can say
Who knows what got?
you couldn't say that.
There was a point where Mark Hamill, he had a line that he
Yeah.
had to say on the
Why are they
Millennium Falcon,
anti-pear?
and I'm not going to be able to quote the line because it's like 30, 40 words, but it's basically just like nerd rambling coming
and it's
out
like
of Luke
exposition
Skywalker.
that he should have no way of knowing.
Yeah, and like, but it was like, I can't
Is this
even
from
like,
A New Hope?
yeah, it was just like something in Mark Hamill was literally like, George, I can't say this. No one speaks like that. And that like he was in an interview on a talk show, and he was like, he's like, I know the line word for word because of how ridiculous it was, and then he recited it right there, and
That's so funny.
oh god,
Yeah. And Harrison Ford was like just saying every other line. I'm not saying that.
Well, they wanted to keep him so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Well,
he got
for a
frozen in
character.
kryptonite because they didn't know if he was going to come back. For the third movie.
He wanted to die. They wanted to kill off his character, so he got what he wanted in Force Awakens. That's too bad. It just didn't. It had almost no payoff.
Oh my! You want to talk about the worst?
Death
the
scene.
worst payoff. Like literally, Han Solo. His death doesn't matter.
Yeah.
in
Well,
Star
they
Wars.
ruined.
That's a shame.
he never should have come back.
They ruined the characters. They ruined the prequel or the original.
Only
trilogy
if you
characters.
pay attention to them.
like at the end of the original trilogy, he was a general.
Yeah, and
then
he
at the
becomes
beginning
a
of-
Spice Raider or some crap.
Yeah, he become that's Dune, but
He was back to
I didn't
back
say
to being
the
a
Spice.
smuggler
He's-
again.
and he was crappy at it. He was terrible at it.
Hey,
He was
when
being
is the next-
chased by 8 different gangs. Like they find him in he's got.
It's horrible, man.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's like Guardians
He's
of the
lost-
Galaxy, but
He's
poorly
lost the
done.
Millennium Falcon. It's so terrible. Oh
Joey,
my
we're
god.
home. When does Dune 2 come out?
I still haven't watched the first one.
I found
Dude,
the
it's
line
The second one?
in the that Mark Hamill was supposed to say.
Oh,
yeah.
what is it? I've never
well,
heard. Oh, you
Yep,
found
this
that.
is it.
Oh, this is old.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is
that-
back from
Can you play
Carson?
this?
probably. Here.
That's Johnny Carson, so I think so.
Okay, so if we do commentary, we're fine, right?
We should be able to. Yeah. And we're not gonna play the whole clip either because it's actually a long.
So we got to make sure we commentate over this, okay? Because
Okay.
it is on YouTube, so we got to make sure, like, fair use. Like, this is clearly commentary.
Right.
We're not trying to steal your clip, Johnny Carson.
Isn't
we
he
go.
dead?
Oh, absolutely. But YouTube
But
doesn't.
whoever owns his estate
I
Um,
guess.
here.
Dream about this line.
All right.
The passage in question came up during a scene in which the crew of the Millennium Falcon comes across
All right,
what
pause it.
remains of Princess Leia's home planet.
I just love the robot woman. Like, there's no warmth in her voice.
Oh, I think it's a real person too, but yeah, no, she's not.
I'll tell you what I love. I love the practical effects.
They were pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were very well. Star Wars really created a lot of things,
Oh yeah.
like total methods of doing like space battles and all that
Yeah.
didn't exist
And
before.
I'm glad we just have computers now.
prior to A New Hope, like the idea of anything looking anything other than perfectly clean for a science fiction was like unheard of.
Yeah.
I had heard that, and that's really interesting. Like, because all the Imperial stuff is immaculately clean.
Right.
I love it. It just fits their aesthetic. It's
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
Planet, Alderaan, after it's been destroyed by the Death Star. The line Hamill protested came as a response
Speaking
from
of
Luke
people,
to
like,
a
not
remark
talking
by Han
the way that
Solo,
people talk.
which Hamill quotes for Carson
Yeah.
with a charmingly gruff Harrison Ford impression.
And Harrison says, look, kid, I've done my part of the bargain. When I get to an asteroid, you, the old man, and the droids get dropped off.
That line in and of itself wouldn't have been too out of the ordinary for the swashbuckling
pause it.
spaceman.
Yeah.
But what would
Again, we are just commentating over this, just so we don't get YouTube struck.
Yeah.
So, that commentary. Go ahead and comment.
have come next
Yeah.
was pretty
We can,
ridiculous.
we can do it while it's
My
playing. but-
line was,
This
but
is
we
it.
can't turn back. Fear is their greatest defense. I doubt if the actual security there is any greater than it was on Aquilai or Solus, and what there is most likely directed towards a large-scale assault.
Even in a script confusing exchanges, that
He
was
remembered
too
all
much
of
for
that.
him.
Fear is their greatest weapon.
Yeah.
It's like what? No one says that.
Wow.
No one talks like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
It's bad.
Oh my goodness.
Maximum
Yeah, so
initiation.
I don't know. It's I think George Lucas and Steven Spielberg make a pretty good writing or pretty good movie team.
Yeah.
I think you get those two together.
Well, I think George Lucas is a big picture guy, and like honestly, from there, like the details got to be handled. Did you know there was
Handled
supposed
by
to,
someone else.
there's supposed to be a Wampa attack? The thing that gets Luke, a whole bunch of them were supposed to attack Echo Base right before the Empire showed up. So there's a scene where a snowtrooper gets pulled into a room by a Wampa, and it exists. The scene exists. They shot it. It is ridiculous.
See, but here's the thing.
You
Something
can hear
like
him
that,
he's banging, trying to get out, and they leave him.
that would be in a new Disney movie. That scene would exist. They would put it in there.
Nobody would have the wherewithal to say, let's not do that.
No, they would.
To be fair,
well, they
they
want
told-
it in there for comedic
They told
effect.
George Lucas for Return of the Jedi, they were like, no Death Stars, George. And he's like, we're doing it.
Well-
it just, they shouldn't have done it twice. They sure as hell shouldn't have done it three
Right.
times. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do it in the
three times.
Well, they
Star Killer Base is just
Okay.
a very
I
good
thought
Death
you were
Star.
talking about actual Death Stars.
No, so like if the problem with Star Wars, the originals, really is that they only thought it was going to be one movie. So that's why you have a complete film, beginning, middle, and end. You know what I mean? So that's why you destroy the Death Star, the good guys win.
yeah. Here's the
It's over, cut and dry.
Yeah.
And then they have to start over and make it a trilogy with some
Yeah.
random rebel outpost.
Yeah. The main story they went with of like, Darth Vader's redemption was good, but the Star Wars
Could have been better if they had that idea from the beginning.
yeah.
Literally, like in the first movie, his name is Darth. His first name is Darth. His last name is Vader.
Yeah.
When Obi-Wan's fighting, he's like, "You're a master of evil, Darth."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So clearly they retconned that, but
Yeah.
also,
Vader.
if they had known it was going to be more than one movie, they wouldn't have killed Tarkin. Tarkin would have been the best villain.
Tarkin.
Tarkin's a better
Yeah.
villain. He was the guy in charge of the Death Star.
Yeah.
He interacts with Leia a lot.
Oh, the
Vader was choking a guy. He's like, Vader, release him.
Yeah, and Vader's like, "All right,
I gotta listen to you.
you're dad."
Yeah. And then he came back
Excuse
in
me,
Rogue
Grand
One.
Moff Tarkin.
He was like the main villain in Rogue One, kind of.
Yeah, like
No.
30 years after his death.
That's all right.
No, that was before.
They CGI.
Yeah, he's dead. But
Yeah, he was all CGI.
They made
Yeah.
they made sure they CGI'd a Leia in there too, so it was all right.
the whole continuity of that too. Like it's literally Vader watches her leave, and then he
Yes.
catches her 30 minutes later, and she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
This is just a diplomatic vessel. Like,
He's like, "I just
Like,
watched you
I-
leave a combat zone."
yeah, like
No,
10 minutes ago. You were
With the
there.
stolen plan.
Although, if you think that's ridiculous, you haven't watched Modern Politics.
I mean, good point.
I mean, I have. I need to separate them.
Well,
She's a politician,
it's a good thing things
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, that's
kind
fair.
of.
I guess,
or at least raised by them.
It's kind of comforting. Things don't change, in a galaxy far, far away. A long time
I don't know
ago.
if that is comforting. Nathan said, I'm not suggesting they do, but what do you think of the idea of them redoing Star Wars Saga 1 through 9? Well, who's going to do it, Nathan?
Redoing?
Who's going to do it?
So seven.
Nothing has been written better recently.
7 through 9 need to just not exist. Like.
They need to be
there's-
rewritten.
There's no
and-
story there that's
That needs
good.
to be told.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard Disney is distancing themselves from it.
Yeah, because it's not good.
I would
wouldn't be
say
surprised.
redo 7 through 9, and then we'll talk about redoing the other ones.
I don't think you redo the originals, but I do think
No, I
Disney
don't
could
think
come
so
out and say,
either.
you know what, like that was a fever dream. Let's do better.
I say you take the
don't know how you do,
entirety of the Skywalker saga
Yeah.
and just set it on fire. Just
Kind of like
I say leave it
just,
alone.
Just walk away. Just
Just-
what happened.
Like the
It's
Jedi
time.
Temple
It's time to go look at other stuff.
Go a couple thousand years in either direction.
There you go.
it's a good idea.
Go
Seven
back.
should be the new Republic.
Go back to the old Republic and tell me stories about when a time when there were literally thousands of Sith and Jedi going to war. That's the stuff I want.
I would rather see that.
Oh my God. Yes.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't trust Disney with any IP anymore.
Oh no!
No.
Even if they did
If
that.
you watched Obi-Wan, did you watch Obi-Wan?
No, I didn't.
Well, the main villain gets run through with a lightsaber, right?
Yeah.
By Vader.
Yeah.
Okay, you remember what happened to Qui-Gon when that happened?
Yeah.
Well, he died, right?
died,
Hey,
yeah.
hey. He didn't have enough hate. They literally
Did you watch it?
They literally go into detail and say that it's surprising what you can survive if you have enough hate.
Hold on.
Tell me
Ridiculous.
one thing that Qui-Gon Jinn hated. Okay.
The Jedi Order.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't think so.
Hold on. I'm just gonna.
Qui-Gon would have been better, and he should have been in 2 movies, just like Maul.
I'm just gonna get this out because I have to know, and I'm sorry if it offends anybody. But was there a strong, diverse female character who was bad, who eventually turns good?
Obviously, yes.
Okay, because that's been the theme of literally every Disney project for the past 10 years.
She also survived getting run through with a lightsaber.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The chick, the Inquisitor.
Well, they make you
there's-
think she's gonna beat Vader,
so stupid.
right? Like
Yeah.
you're like, if she beats Vader in a,
Wait.
in a
Wait.
lightsaber
She
fight.
didn't even come close to beating.
Well,
him.
dude, they set up. I don't know. She gets some blows in.
She wasn't even remotely in the neighborhood.
Regardless,
Eli, listen, I understand. Nobody should. We watched Qui-Gon literally get killed that way, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Votan coming before guard. I think it's ridiculous, but it's almost as if I said it 10 months ago. It's
absurd.
almost like I said that was going to
it's
happen.
so absurd. You shouldn't even get a. I don't even think you should get a 9th edition codex.
I mean,
now.
I agree. I agree.
Just wait till.
What's the point?
If it's next year, just give it to you next year. We're in September. You're not gonna get a codex. We're moving in October.
It is depressingly possible that it
Yeah.
might be January.
And
It's
if it comes
ludicrous.
January, you got about 6 months of playtime.
It is ludicrous.
It's like Thousand Suns and the D beam. Like
You
You're
should
gonna get
probably just quit guard. Dear
Nah,
God.
man, I can't.
I wouldn't
They
do
have
that.
too many new models and new kits
No
on the
kidding.
horizon.
That is what I would be excited.
I'm gonna have to find a proxy for that Ursula model because it's terrible.
The model's not bad.
I hated
Ursula.
it. Yeah, the Ursula.
Ursula
Creed.
Creed. It's
the chick.
Creed's
Looked
daughter.
terrible.
Just kit bash it a little bit and be fine.
Just
It might be.
just
Might be the way they painted the face.
just put a helmeted head on her. I actually
that's fair.
I
You could do
think
that too.
didn't the kit have a
I
helmeted
certainly hope
I
option?
think so.
I'm pretty sure that Ursula had a helmeted option.
I think so. But anyway,
Why
there
do
are
they
ways to
hate
fix it.
guard so much?
I don't know if they hate guard. If it's just like I don't think it. I don't
Do
know.
they not think it's interesting enough?
I don't think it sells as much as other things.
Dude,
I think that's why. I
I'm
think
telling
it's
you, if they had done a Krieg line, it might have outsold Space Marines. Maybe not in perpetuity, but there would have been a time.
maybe.
I'm telling you, man, Krieg is like one of their best IPs.
I mean, you literally just paint the stuff different, and then there you go. It's
No, I'm
Krieg.
talking like
No.
the Krieg model. If they had done a full Krieg release,
Yeah, but I mean, you mean with their own tanks and stuff? Like they don't. The vehicles don't need to
if they had done
look
more
any different.
Krieg infantry units, you know what I mean? If it was
Yeah.
just like not just a standalone,
Like a
the
heavy
Death
weapons
Riders,
team.
yeah,
and
like they would have
no,
sold
I get what you're getting
commissar, a
at.
couple commanders, command squad. It would have sold great.
Well, here's the thing, dude. It's no different than and this is what I was talking about before they did all that stuff.
Just
anyway.
anecdotally, I've sold more Krieg kits than intercessor kits in the last year.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Like I was saying, it's no different than the Thousand Sun stuff. And that's what I was saying before when all this stuff was coming out. We were talking about a possible Krieg release.
Adorable Cyclops
Like
demolition.
they don't have like any heavy weapons teams or any unique Thousand Suns.
Oh,
any
right.
unique tanks or any unique like walkers or like demon engines.
Do
or
they have stuff in the
anything for
lore?
'em. Yeah.
And they just
They've got their own flyers that they refuse to put in canon in the codex.
You've got
And they're still using Helldrakes.
you've got Helldrakes, okay? So
Yeah,
like let's
it's so silly. But
let's
yeah,
I don't
let's
think
be
Guard are
grateful for
bland.
Helldrakes, okay?
Eli says Guard are the most bland army. I don't think they're bland.
I guess it depends on what you mean by bland.
They're
I mean,
humans.
I don't have as much against them as I used to, but like I would say that they probably have arguably less flavor than most.
In terms of
Flavor?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is funny or not.
I don't know, man. I think they've got more flavor than a lot of them.
in terms of, I don't know. It's
I mean, they have their flavor for sure. Like nothing does Guard like Guard.
to me they're no different than Ultramarines. And I mean specifically Ultramarines. Like I would put them in the same camp as how and as being kind of unique and stuff. Like they both have sort of the same qualities. Because I think Ultramarines are kind of like not bland is the word I would use, but
The Ultramarine fluff is actually like legitimately good.
I mean so is the Guard stuff.
But
too,
like
but
what they are on the tabletop, I get that. Like they
And
are
they're being-
they are like run of the mill. Yeah.
see, I don't get
They
that.
just-
I don't get that though either. To me they're a horde army.
Oh no, I'm
That-
talking about Ultramarines.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, Ultramarines.
I might agree with you that I think Ultramarines might be more bland on the tabletop as more bland than Guard.
Well, because like
I think they're more. I think
so,
Guard on the tabletop.
so when you look at like
But-
White Scars, like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like you understand, like they're going to embrace bikes. Everything's going to be
Exactly.
fast. They want to get into melee.
Exactly.
It's like
So-
speed, hit and run style of play. And
They're-
it's
they're-
like that's what
yeah.
they do. But like Ultramarines are just kind of like we do all the stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
we
I-
kind of
they
have a
should be
little
more,
bit of
they should be more
everything.
tactical.
And I mean
That
and
would be
they
their thing.
and they kind of are right. Like they've got some abilities to just like
it's not that they
cycle
should be,
stuff and
it's
you know.
not it's not that necessarily it should be more like tactical and strategic.
Nathan, I like rice checks too, buddy.
It's that they should. So here's the because all Space Marines are tactical and strategic in their own way. It's how they need to adapt.
Right, but Ultramarines are supposed to be even more so, right?
No, it's that they're supposed to adapt strictly to the Codex Astartes. That's Ultramarines, right? They are the Codex Astartes to a T more than I think any other chapter.
Pretty much, yeah.
They do not break that force organization at all. Where Dark Angels do, White Scars do, Iron Hands do, they all do, except for Ultramarines, and that's the point. So they are a literally by the book army.
They're the Captain America.
Yeah, kind of. But I think Captain America's more interesting than Ultramarines.
I would
Well,
agree.
sure,
but yeah, exactly.
but you know,
they're
they're the straight up and down.
yeah, exactly.
Captain America is also like infinitely more interesting than Superman.
Oh, way more.
Like they're both
Way
like the
more.
flagship guy and Captain America 100%.
and
way
Captain
more
America has like
flagship guy.
unrealistic like
Oh, you're talking about
opinions
the,
and belief. You know what I mean? Like
so does
he's
Superman.
like straight A, like moral up and down, right? Like it's not a realistic way to live in the world.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
He's
know what I mean?
a
Like,
very, very moral,
very
upstanding
moral.
person. Like he doesn't let his opinions on freedom
To
or
the
anything
point-
be.
You're talking about both of them, right?
Because
Because they're both like this.
Yeah,
Right,
okay,
but
yeah,
Captain
Superman.
America manages to still be interesting. I think is what we're saying.
Well, they're both different. They're both different character arcs, right?
Yeah.
yeah, one's interesting, the other's not.
But I think
Well,
that
it's
literally
not-
comes down to their powers.
think so.
even more
I
so
think
than
so.
their
Well, I think you're
personality?
focusing too much on their power as opposed to the whole character himself. Right?
Well, yeah, but I
they're
mean-
more than just their superpowers.
Like,
We've debated this
Superman.
before, and you made
Their
a good
superpowers
point.
are
The
their
interesting
features.
thing about Superman is he's the most powerful character, yet it's still not enough.
Exactly. Well, and it's
But it's hard to get through that. You know, you got a comic book arc, 13 issues.
Anyone want to tell me when it's not enough? Because it seems like he always
Well, until he
just kinda
wins,
like,
it's not enough. Like,
yeah, but it's
I'm telling you, the
Well,
worst
there's-
part is the kryptonite.
we talked
That's
about
the worst part.
we talked about
Superman.
we talked about Injustice on that same time.
yeah,
but that's a
same-
that's
same
a pretend
super-
arc though.
like,
I
That's
understand,
not a
but that
legitimate
is
arc.
the same Superman with the same powers.
it is so much more
The
interesting.
exact
though.
same powers.
It's so much more interesting when you have that character as the villain rather than the hero, because then they just come
The
in
all-powerful
come in.
villain?
Yeah.
Well, you
so
need to
much
watch
more.
The Boys then.
Sarah showed me a scene of the boys earlier. Where he's crawling up the tube.
Oh, that
Yeah,
one.
it's ridiculous.
The-
I cannot watch
The
that show.
sneeze.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
it's that.
it's ridiculous.
That's a rough part.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And if people like it, that's fine. It's just
But it's-
I cannot get behind
to
it.
me-
that Eli.
To me, it's the philosophy behind the character, not just the character superpower. I think the Hulk is one of the most interesting characters in the MCU.
I think that like the struggle between Bruce Banner and the Hulk is definitely interesting.
Well,
Now,
I think the problem is like he doesn't
the
really
whole-
understand what it's like. I think like he doesn't have to live in an oppressed way.
I knew you were going to the She-Hulk.
I don't like how She-Hulk is
Minimizing
enormously
Bruce Banner?
undermining that struggle.
So for me,
The hulking twerk.
So for me, the Hulk is actually a little bit more deeper than that. It's why would you do this to me?
Oh my god, this is like MCU gold right here.
His pants aren't purple. It's not canon.
Oh, probably not. Somebody. That's,
But,
that's not fan fiction, I think.
To me, it's a deeper story about like man, right? And like and how aggressive men are, and like being able to tap into that aggressiveness for the good,
But
right?
being able
He's
to control it.
Well, for the good, right? Like that is the struggle of man, is like men destroy, but we can also use that aggressive personality to create and do good things. And to me, that's the Hulk, and that's why I find him so interesting.
What's the Immortal Hulk?
Yeah, I have the beyond the basic stuff, I have no idea.
See, the thing is, a lot of these concepts. I'm sorry, a lot of these concepts are very in-depth concepts that have to be. I don't want to say dumbed down, but they have to be simplified for kids because that's what they originally were.
Well, sure.
You know, now I mean that's not so much the case with these movies, but like the comic books, you have to take this
I think
complex concept and make it package it for kids.
I think the failing on these characters like the Hulk and Superman, aren't on the characters themselves. I think they're on the things that have been produced in the last
I
20
would
years.
disagree about Superman. I feel like Superman came about as he was the first superhero, right?
Yeah.
So,
he was
like,
the first
just
superhero,
he
but
can
he
do
was
everything.
also yeah, that's part of it, right? But so they're like, what
Why
superpower
does
should
why
he
does
have?
he have heat vision?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not like a Superman scholar. I don't know why
He
why
literally
powers-
does everything.
Him
why
being
his
able to
powers
fly
has-
and being super strong like would have been enough, but like X-ray vision and
Yeah.
you know
Heat vision,
they just
ice
kept
breath.
adding stuff. Yeah.
He's faster than the speed of light.
he
speed-
races
speeding
the
bu-
Hulk,
speeding
or not the Hulk,
not
the Flash.
not the original one wasn't faster than the speed of light. He's
it's
faster
so-
than
It's a bullet.
speeding bullet.
He actually he gets more and more powerful as the series went.
Which is kind of my point. Is it's not I don't think it's the original character concept that's the problem. I think it's just the way he's been interpreted and written down in pages since at least in the last 20 years.
wow.
It could have stretched longer. I think you can take all these. I think all these characters are great conceptually, but they need to be utilized properly.
Characters have to have flaws, right? So like like in House of the Dragon right now, like the king Viserys he's not a very strong character, but like he's very likable because he's so human.
Yeah.
Right? Like he has these things you can relate to. I mean, you're not a king, but like he has nagging nonsense that he's got to deal with and he just wants to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
So like
Characters
the
need to be
character's
relatable.
very enduring because he's so human.
Sure.
And Ray was not.
I thought
Ray
he
was
was
not
gonna be
very
dead
deeply
immediately,
human.
by the way.
What's
Sure,
that?
but
I thought he was gonna be dead in like episode 1. Like I thought for sure that he was gonna die.
Sure, but the problem with Ray wasn't what's the word I'm looking for? The problem with Ray wasn't that she was So she's supposed to be like that gray balancing character, right? That's what her character arc is supposed to be. She kind of struggles from one side to the other. That's the story of the Skywalker.
What's that, Matt?
That's not the problem with the character. The problem with the character is how they put her to paper. They made her a Mary Sue, in which she wasn't required to be a Mary Sue.
I've never
for the
heard
story
until
character.
tonight that she was supposed to be the gray balancing character.
I mean, that's literally the way the story played out.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I've just never at any point was that the argument. It was always just that she was a strong female character.
Can anyone tell me why she said her name was Skywalker at the end?
No, we don't
Like,
know.
Like literally.
Unclear.
Like
His family doesn't matter.
Until it does.
She didn't
because she
Except
was a
it does.
Palpatine. But then at the end, it doesn't matter again. I don't know. I don't know. It
His
was
family's who you choose.
Yeah, they said it at the end of the movie. It's like
Nathan
because
likes
you
the
can choose.
Instabread in episode
You get
7.
to choose your own. You get to choose your own path, even if you were born in a born.
you can.
I have no-
choose
I have
a
no problem
path
with that.
without
You can
stealing someone else's name.
and
Exactly.
you can choose your family too, I guess, as part of it. Like, even though you were born, because the whole idea was she was a Palpatine, but she chooses to call herself a Skywalker because she doesn't follow that path, even though it was one dude.
Well, hang on. Also,
one Palpatine was
also
a bad guy.
The
What?
Skywalker name has a lot of atrocities attached to it, also. So let's not pretend. that
Literally child slaying.
Yes.
Oh, Anakin, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Let's not pretend like
I'm like they were.
I would much rather
Oh,
be
yeah.
a kid killer. Yeah.
I mean,
Tony's gonna cut that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I should have said that.
we all need one. It's okay. I've got one too.
I think I
I
think
think I'd rather have mine.
they had that like fake like close bond between her and Leia. Like even though they barely share any screen time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, well, and
it's
once
just, none of those things paid off.
Once-
What's
once-
his name? Poe never paid off. He was never the Han
yeah.
because he just wasn't.
Once again, though, it's not a problem with the character archetype. It's a problem with the writers. They suck, and it's no different than its first name is Sheev. I mean,
Sheev Palpatine.
Yeah,
is that canon or is that
It
evil
is.
crap? Is it really?
Yeah.
I'd be a Kenobi.
But anyway, it's irrelevant. It's
Have you heard the joke?
none of the
about-
archetypes are the problem. It's the way they're written. They are. I don't know what the hell's going on over at Marvel and Lucas and Disney as a whole.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, they're literally just trying to churn out sludge so they can.
Well,
keep making
I mean,
money.
not only that.
That's
like,
what it is,
They don't
but
hire.
they don't care.
The writers aren't hired based on credentials.
Well, that's part of it, but they literally just pump stuff out. So, fun fact: Multiverse of Madness written in 3 weeks.
Are you serious?
Absolutely,
You can tell.
absolutely.
Dude, Kathleen
it's-
Kennedy
there was-
produced Jurassic Park.
There
I
was
just
a
want
point.
you guys to know that.
Yeah, there was a point in which they were shooting scenes as they were writing the movie.
Star Wars, the prequel or the sequel trilogy suffered from that. Maybe not. I don't know
Yeah.
about the time frame, but literally there was no cohesive narrative from 1 through 3 of the Disney sequel trilogy.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Well, no,
That's why it's so. It's oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's
Dude, I don't. Those guys have not been great. And first of all, the Favreau Star Wars stuff has been abysmal.
Oh, the John
Boba
Favreau,
Fett
right?
was an abomination. Mando is terrible.
I haven't
And-
seen any
and,
Mando. I saw a few episodes of Boba Fett.
Obi-Wan was not
Stupid.
good.
Didn't watch
Obi-Wan was the best of the litter.
I mean, that's a
That
low
is,
bar.
from what I hear, that is not
Look,
saying
look,
a lot.
There were
The
only-
first episode, you see, there's 30 minutes of Obi-Wan folding meat and riding his donkey thing in the desert. Like, there's so much wasted time in that. I'm not
Donkey
kidding.
thing.
He folds a square of meat, steals it, by the way. Steals meat from a processing place.
Really?
Yes.
Well, he's
Multiple times.
he's stealing it because he has to
Feed his horse?
his horse thing.
There's just so many shots of
There's
him. like-
nothing else he could do. He's a damn Jedi. There's nothing else he could do to acquire meat.
Well, he
He's
had
got to steal it.
at this point he hadn't used his
He's
powers.
jaded
He hadn't
and,
used his
yeah.
powers in over 10 years.
Yeah. Who made him like that?
What?
Who made him like that?
The writers.
The writers?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. He didn't have to be like that. The
Eli,
writers
man.
wrote him like that.
Listen, I found a reel on Instagram. It literally is. I gotta send it to you. It's a guy like breaking down Mandalorian. It's like, oh no,
This isn't-
Baby Yoda drank all the milk.
This isn't
We have to go
surprising.
find new milk.
This isn't surprising to me. Nathan, likes season 8 of Game of Thrones and doesn't like Blade Runner.
Does he not like Blade Runner?
That's what it looks like.
I've never seen Blade Runner.
It's
I didn't see it until recently. They're good.
The new
they're
one's very good.
good movies.
They're really good.
They're good movies.
I didn't realize like the whole
Yeah.
cyberpunk thing even is.
It works.
It's a really good aesthetic for it.
Yeah, it works. It's fantastic. The first one with Harrison Ford is
I have to watch it.
I didn't have high
guess-
expectations for it, and it was
Me
good.
neither.
I really liked it.
Me neither.
2049?
Yeah, the new one.
That was the new
That's the only one I've seen. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford really doesn't have to be in the film.
No,
No,
he
no.
doesn't.
But
no, he doesn't.
other than that, it's very good.
I think the only reason he's in the film is to convey
Because?
that. Well, it's to convey that the main protagonist isn't special. I think that's like his
Sure.
entire.
Yeah.
I think that's the entire purpose he's in the movie. Is just to
Yeah.
convey that this guy that you've been following for a while is not special. Nope. Which is fine. It
well,
works fine with the story.
Also, the one who is special, it reaffirms that she is in fact special.
Yeah. Exactly.
By telling you he's not special.
You need the character.
Because only one of them can be.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a very good. You need to watch it. It's a very good film.
It's a really good movie.
I think it's like, is it 2.5 hours?
It's a long one, but
It's a long
it
movie.
is actually really good.
You
I
need
would
to-
watch the other one first, though.
the
I mean, that's
first
probably
I would,
fair.
yeah.
I didn't watch the original, and I mean, I talked to
It's a good
Tony,
movie,
so-
though.
If you watch the director's cut, that one's pretty long too. But it is a good movie. He's not wrong.
Dude, what's his name? He tells great stories. God, what's his name?
I don't know, I'm gonna look him up.
Well, you know his name. Alien. Ridley Scott.
Ridley
Oh.
Scott.
Ridley
Yeah.
Scott just does.
I wanted to say John Carpenter, but I was like, that's not him.
It's good, Matt. It's
John
really
Carpenter
good.
tells good stories too. But
The Thing is a fantastic movie.
I would like to watch The Thing.
The Thing is very good.
Did awful when it first came out, and then it became a cult classic
Yeah,
when
I
it went
mean-
to home theater. Yep.
Yeah, it's
But that's a.
it's horrific.
Have you
too,
ever
man.
seen? Have you ever
Yeah.
seen?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Through the Mouths of Madness?
No.
I have.
Or in the Mouths of Madness? It might have been. It might be In the Mouths of Madness. Fantastic movie. It's basically about a horror writer who's being sucked into his own horror works, and it is so good.
Maybe that's where Alan Wake got it.
It could be. It is a fantastic movie.
Alan Wake is a very good game.
if you
by the way.
like Lovecraftian stuff like The Thing, it's so good.
I really want to watch it. Where can I watch The Thing?
The Thing.
You can
Yeah.
rent it.
I don't know what it's on.
Rent it on Google TV for $3. Trust me, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth
Okay.
it. It's worth
It's worth $3 to stream.
What's your like favorite horror film?
I really like. Okay, so I just mentioned those two. I
it.
love.
The Thing's up there.
Um,
The Thing is up there.
sadly, I really like. I don't know if I'd put it in like top 5 or top 10, but it's just one of the more recent ones. I really enjoyed the part 1 It movie. Was really good. I thought the part 2 was terrible.
Part 2 was very bad.
It was
Very
awful, and I hated it. But part 1 was amazing. Horror movies.
I'd say
I like The Strangers.
There's a
Strangers is pretty well done.
It's
Yeah,
I
it's
think
pretty well
I
done.
think the acting is good. Like it's terrifying because it's like just
Yeah.
people,
Yeah,
and it's like
and it's random.
yeah.
There's a movie. It was on Netflix for a while. There's a movie. It's another Lovecraftian horror movie. You watch it, and it's almost like watching people play like a Dread or World of Darkness. It is really good. It's a B movie, but it's really not.
What was it?
It's called The Void.
The Void.
It is really good. It basically
I'm gonna
the,
text that to Sarah right
the
now.
entire movie basically takes place inside a hospital. Most of it anyway, the vast majority of it, because you have some outside the hospital. You got sheriffs and stuff, but anyway, it is super good. It's got that like existential dread to it. It's got that cosmic horror to it. It is really good. I remember telling Jake about it because some of the sound effects Jake was using for his dreads and stuff was coming from that, and he didn't know it.
Okay.
And I was like, I saw the movie you're using that from. He's like, I didn't get this from a movie. I'm like, yeah, you did. It's called The Void. You should watch it. It's fantastic. And he watched it and he loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And he's into all that stuff too, Lovecraftian stuff. So it's amazing. I highly suggest it. But yeah, that was another really good horror movie. The Color Out of Space. that one might
That
be my.
sounds like a cheesy old movie.
It has got Nicolas Cage in it. It came out like 3 years ago,
Really?
and it is fantastic.
What's it called?
The Color Out of Space. I think that's what it's called.
Damn it, Brad.
That is another awesome.
You know, one that I just didn't really care for that is cult classic was Event Horizon.
I've never seen it.
Have you seen it?
No.
I just thought it
honestly,
was far too gory.
a lot
Okay.
of
I
a
thought
lot
the
of
gore
old
took
movies.
away from it.
A lot of old movies, I have a hard
I know.
time.
So
Yeah.
excuse me, it's called Color Out of Space is what it's called. It came out in 2019. I remember I think she was hanging out with her brother one night, and she was out in like Kentucky or something. I watched it, and it was so good. It was so good. But yeah, that one is fantastic. It's got Nicolas Cage in it, and he's Nicolas Cage, so he's perfectly casted. Like he literally plays Nicolas Cage, so it
Wait,
works
you
so
mean
well.
like he plays the actor known as Nicolas Cage?
No, I mean his the way his character
He just behaves as
yeah,
himself.
exactly. The way the character is supposed to behave, he's supposed to behave like Nicolas Cage.
Got it.
So it's perfectly casted. You
Dope.
couldn't have found someone better to behave that way.
You ever see Lord of War?
No, I have not.
It's a really good Nicolas Cage
Is it?
movie.
Might be one of his best ones.
I actually really
Yeah, it's
enjoy.
really good.
I actually really enjoy Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I think
What's your
he's-
favorite horror movie?
horror movie, The Strangers.
And Strangers.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, you said
yeah,
that.
I really like that one.
The original Halloween, like if you go older slasher, the original Halloween is.
I don't really care for
good.
slashers.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
I preferred the remake.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I never got into Freddy Krueger or Halloween
didn't like,
or like any of that. It's just
Rob Zombie stuff to me.
I thought he did a good job on that remake.
I never saw the newest.
The
remake.
opening
I don't-
dialogue is hilarious.
I don't typically
In which?
watch.
We'll watch it after the show.
Okay.
I don't.
It's hilarious.
In the original or the Rob Zombie?
The Rob Zombie one.
Dude,
it's
it's like-
so funny.
literally anything Rob Zombie does. It's like it's people getting slaughtered or they're banging.
And it's usually.
And oftentimes it's immediately back to back.
Well, to
In
me,
ei-
it
either
wasn't that,
order.
yeah.
to
But
me,
the
that
original
stuff
was
is
like that,
usually
too.
way over. Like the grotesque horror in the thing is.
That's body
It's
horror,
it's
right.
well, it's perfectly adequate too for what's going on.
You get it when you need to.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not excessive.
The most horror
It is-
thing in that movie,
You get the right
there's no
amount.
gore.
Oh yeah, okay.
There's no gore.
no, it's all well.
The most
I mean,
horrific scene in that movie, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I might have to watch this like in the next couple of days.
It's,
watch it. It's really good.
I will
It's a
say you might not
fantastic
like it
movie.
because of the effects, but if you can
all
get by
practical.
the early '80s effects,
all practical. It's good stuff.
and they don't tell you anything.
That's good.
They don't tell you anything. They don't hold your hand. Like it's just things start happening, and
Is it In the Mouths of Madness? Oh, by the way, in that movie, In the Mouth of Madness. Excuse me. In that movie, the main character is Sam Neill. It's played by Sam Neill, the guy who plays the archaeologist in Jurassic Park, the original one.
speaking of which, the new one's available for streaming, and I'm gonna have to watch it and find out how bad it is.
Oh, I thought you already went and saw it.
We did, but Lincoln was like, "I want to go home."
Before, how
Yeah.
old is he? He's
3.
He's 3.5.
3, okay.
He was in there like,
Almost
"It's
4.
all quiet, right? It's quiet."
Like, this sucks. Get me out of
movie?
here. The new
Lincoln.
Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Lincoln.
yeah.
So we're in there, and like the lights dim. He goes, "It's quiet." And he goes, "Why are the lights off?" We're like, hey, they got to be off for the movie, bud. And then like it starts, and they show like a baby stegosaurus, like the baby dinosaur, like screams it, and we're like, yeah, it is. And he's eating pretzels, and he's like, I want to go home. And we're like, all right,
so
man, we'll go. We'll go.
The original Omen's really good.
Omen
Yeah, the original
from
one.
the 70s?
Yeah.
I think I would love to see that redone well.
Did you see the newest one they redid?
Yeah, but they never finished it.
No, they didn't.
They just did the first one. Like it's a
Yeah.
whole. Is it a trilogy?
It's a trilogy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Well,
like-
the problem is the third one's really bad.
But they could redo it and do it well.
Yeah. Well,
It's a really creepy story.
it is. The problem is, how do you do the third movie?
I don't know how it ends, to be honest.
Jesus shows up and he dies.
Oh well, I mean, you just do it.
That- How? That's I get the.
I would say you do something else.
Exactly right.
could, I mean,
that
but-
was the original. The second one was really good, and the first one was really good. The third one, I don't remember if he's president or what's going on, but I know
What
at,
are we talking
at the
about?
Omen movies. The Omen, it follows the Antichrist. Literally, the Antichrist is born. he finds his way to power. And
Oh,
he's
he
gonna
becomes
bring about,
president.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's going to bring about.
All right,
the
this is making
apocalypse.
more sense. I just heard you talk.
Yeah.
To hear
I
Lincoln
heard you
say a
talk
word.
about Jesus, and then someone becomes president. I'm
But
like,
yeah,
hold up.
in the third one, so you don't actually
Yeah,
see
Mexican president Jesus DeSantis.
But anyway, so you don't actually, they don't have anybody play Jesus. It's literally like, I can't remember, it's been so long. He literally opens a door, or a door is opened, and it's literally just this overwhelmingly bright light, and it's God. Right?
Jesus dies or the bad guy dies?
This kills Damien, the Antichrist. So yeah, it's
so God kills.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, that's better, but
yeah. But how do you write that in a way that makes it
interesting.
Yeah, and
Politically correct? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
no.
I
do
mean,
not care
there's
about
really
that.
no like way to do a good job of telling a story that ends with, for no obvious reason, everyone dies at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like War of the Worlds was like that.
You also have to be careful.
So bad.
It
It
was-
literally ruined it.
It was so bad.
You also just have to be careful.
Because it's like a movie that's like kind of going well, and then suddenly, they got sick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
They
new
were
one
able
with
to
Tom
travel
Cruise.
here, but
Yeah.
they didn't
Yeah.
know that water. Well, okay, signs was water.
This was the one where they didn't know that bacteria existed.
Yeah, you're like, come on.
There's no
was right-
microscopic life on the
Yeah.
planet you
basis
came
for
from?
life.
What's a Deus Ex Machina? Is that what you're saying?
Deus Ex.
Yeah,
I heard that was fantastic.
I haven't seen the movie. I played the game, which I don't think is related.
Yeah, I heard the game was great. I think he's making a comment. A Deus Ex is like it's like a narrative tool.
Oh, you know what? There was a movie called I think it's like Ex Machina.
Ex
Yeah, Deus
Machina.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
But is that the one with the I might just be thinking of a different title, but it's
Yeah, bro, it's gotta be
about
They use that phrase a lot. I think it means God from machine.
it was a movie where a guy had created like an android, and like he brings in some other dude to like basically like interact with it. And
Yeah,
are we
so-
talking about the same movie?
So a Deus Ex is basically, it would be basically the end of Omen 3, where Jesus comes back and he just dies. That is a Deus Ex in narrative writing, where literally, I think it's literally like God shows up and it's just like it's like an actual God.
Yeah.
Like it's just a narrative.
Kind
it's
of like
a narrative
Dogma,
tool.
although that's kind of different in Dogma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I've never seen that either.
it's
But
That's one you should see.
it's pretty
I don't know
funny.
if I agree.
You should see it.
It's been a long time.
It
It's
has
old
been
now,
a long
but
time.
Kind of.
I remember when it came out.
Jay and
It was
Silent
like
Jay and
Bob.
Silent
There were some
Yeah.
decisions I didn't like in it,
Yeah.
like the casting of God. Not a fan, but
That's fair. All right, guys. Well, hey, this was the movie and TV show review episode. We seem to have one of these like every 3 weeks, so I'm for it.
I enjoy these ones.
Uh,
I got a lot of opinions about
Me
new
too.
movies and old
Me too.
movies and
luckily, people stayed with us and shared theirs also.
Sinister. I don't know if you watched the first Sinister movie. You don't have to watch the second one, but Sinister horror movie. It is
Which one is
really
that?
good.
Is that Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
No, you're thinking of Insidious.
Yeah.
Sinister, you don't watch those.
Sinister's the one with the video
first one's
camera.
good. Yes,
Yeah,
the
that one's
Super
pretty
8
good.
film.
That's pretty good.
Oh, you know what? The original Paranormal Activity. That was good.
Yeah, that's not
The,
bad.
the first one.
Okay, yeah.
The first one was good.
They made
Yeah,
it into a movie series where
Yeah.
everything fell apart.
That was brilliant marketing too.
It was.
it was the best
I-
marketed movie of all time.
That movie, it was in the
Better than
budget
the
was
Blair
like
Witch?
the budget was
Marketed?
like $1,100.
Well,
the
it
Blair
was.
Witch had people thinking it was real.
That's true.
Yeah.
I went to high
That's it.
school with
Although-
people who thought Paranormal
yeah.
Activity was real. So
Paranormal
Although
Activity or Blair Witch?
Paranormal
See,
Activity.
Blair Witch happened a generation before. Well, not a generation, but like
It was more of a Gen X
school
one.
generation.
like a high school generation. Before.
Yeah.
Like
it was more Gen X, so it was pretty much a generation
Like 10 years
before.
before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I remember because I was in Votech, and I literally watched it the night before, and
Yeah, you watch him on Jay Leno.
yeah, and
or
it was
whatever.
and then we came home and they had him on the Late Show or whatever it was, like the actors.
But yeah,
and
I
they're like,
believe-
dude, it was real. It was actual found footage. I'm like, I literally watched them with. It might have been Jay Leno like last night. Like, dude, it wasn't really cool.
Yeah, it was. Well, they tell you there's a
guys are-
line at the very end of the movie. It's like these are fictional events.
But yeah,
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Well, I think they do that in a lot of movies. Like any likeness
they don't-
is purely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't
It's
want
a legal
They
thing.
don't want to. Well, yeah, they don't want to spur like unrest.
Grave Encounters.
What's
Grave
that?
Encounters.
Grave Encounters. That was a really good movie.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Grave Encounters was another like like documentary style, like, you know, first person. I've got a camera, and they were like these. They were like ghost hunters, right? That like go to this like insane asylum. And, you know, like they're like, hey, you know, we're gonna stay overnight, blah blah blah, see what happens.
Don't they
I
get
know.
locked in the same room? Like
I know what you're talking about. I've actually seen
They
this.
get locked inside the asylum, and like they're
It's like a portal, right?
they're there for like ever, like
Yeah.
long time, and it's like 36 hours later, like the sun still hasn't come back up. Like they can see through bars in the windows, and like the sun's just never raising.
Yeah.
again.
They're
And
in
it's
like
they're
another
just-
dimension.
Yeah, they're like just trapped there. Super good movie.
I've
like,
seen that. It's actually
like
it's
some
pretty good.
crazy
Yeah.
jump scares, and like it's really good.
Yeah.
I suggest you watch it because there's some brutal stuff that happens, and
I think
it's
I've
really
seen
good.
it.
It's really good.
I
So-
feel like very similar. Like the door stands out to me. For some reason.
After all the movies we talked about tonight, both of you need to watch Color Out of Space.
I texted Sarah and she just sent me a question mark. So I
The
said
movie,
movies.
watch it. It's really good. It's kind of gory, but it's
Gore's okay.
It starts-
It's just if
as
the
long as
old-
it's done right.
Yes.
If you're just using gore as shock value,
no, that's not what this is.
Yeah.
Or like it's so
But,
gory, it's like there's not that much
the
gore in a
crescendo-
person.
The crescendo of the movie is perfect. It starts on such a
Nathan is a robot.
personal level, and then it goes cosmic at the end. It is fantastic. It's a good movie.
You guys should watch.
Can you appreciate that line for a second?
What?
I almost need to know how a movie ends before I'm willing to see it.
I mean, that is true. I do have a lot of opinions. Blair Witch was definitely hyped as real.
Yeah, and you know, this we'll end on this note. Endings are very hard to pull off because if you leave them open ended, people think you're lazy. People aren't very creative. You know what I mean? So like a lot of times you're like, oh, well, what do you think happened? People don't want that. They want to cut and dry. They want to see the narrative finished, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes stories just don't have a good ending point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, the
I
thing.
mean, not every story needs to have a satisfying ending.
yeah,
Like
Well,
an ending that like
people have a hard time with that.
yeah.
Things that aren't satisfying.
Yeah.
The
Well,
thing,
horror
I
kind of
think-
requires that almost
Yeah.
because like they want
Appropriate
people
horror.
to be like not. They don't want that little bit of security that something happened to make the bad guy not a threat anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Right. But the ending to The Thing, for instance, that was a really good ending.
It was
I-
open ended. It's still debated to this day.
I might have to watch it tonight.
Dude, it's good.
You should watch it.
It's
tonight.
very worth it.
Do you work tomorrow?
Not early. So
Yeah, then you're watching
Then
it tonight.
you literally have no reason not to watch it.
Watch it with the kids.
Don't.
All right, guys.
Don't do that.
That's the
That's
show.
a bad idea.
We'll be back next week. Tell your grandma. Hey, anybody interested? We got a 40K campaign coming up. Get a hold of me. Should be a lot of fun. We love you.
bye.
You know, all this conversation started. We got sidetracked looking for